evening, everyone. I am Nash Pelayo, serving you for today as your news anchor, and tonight we have some exclusive new report of just how extensive Hamas planning was, from schools targeted to the numbers of places breached.
Tonight, chilling new details on how Hamas terrorists deliberately targeted Israeli schools and uni centers in their hunt for hostages.
Documents recovered from the bodies of the Hamas fighters and show how the group drew up detailed plans to storm specific schools and tasked special units to deal with the hostages. The documents contradict Hamas claims that the group does not target children, and they're a part of an emerging picture of the scale and sophistication of the attack, raising new questions about the failure of Israeli forces to stop.
The Israeli military tells us that the Gaza border defense was breached approximately more than 30 times, a higher number than previously reported. We've also located some of the worst severe breaches, including this one near Kibbutz Be'eri, where terrorists used high explosives to blast their way through, then storming inside the WRL community, leaving a trail of death behind.
The Israeli military says that in this house, the Israeli residents had barricaded themselves into a safe room. The Hamas terrorists weren't able to get them, so they set the whole house on fire.
Hamas forces were supported from above by explosive-carrying drones. At this spot near Kfar Aza, a drone dropping a bomb on a machine gun tower overlooking the border. New images also show what two security analysts believe is an anti-craft missile. It's not clear if it was fire, but it indicates the terrorists arrived ready to defend themselves against Israeli helicopters. We don't know why Israeli monitoring system failed to detect hundreds of Hamas fighters approaching the border fence. Critics say Israeli intelligence missed the early warning signs, including Hamas fighters building an open-air village to practice their tactics.
Well, it was a collapse of all systems, but the first one is the intelligence system.
And painful questions over the slow response of Israeli troops once the attack was underway.
It's not the success of Hamas, it's more the failure of the Israeli defense.
Iram Erez was a senior Israeli officer stationed along the Gaza border.
What's the single thing that shocks you the most?
And none of them was in full gear. In Israel for decades, there's a drill that before the dawn rise, this is the most important and sensitive time that the enemy can attack.
We asked the Israeli military top spokesman.
What went wrong here? Was this an intelligence failure? Was it a failure of the units on the border? What went wrong?
This is a plan that was being planned, a massive scale plan. Why we didn't know? We will find out why we didn't know. Why we didn't know. But now, we're not into that. Our mindset now is in the other side of the border.
A military with a difficult fight ahead and the difficult questions to answer.
Time for a moment to breathe. Follow me and see. Relax with natural tea. C2 green tea, 100% natural tea. Brew fresh for you and me. Enjoy relaxing with natural tea. Our C2 green tea. Relax the natural way with C2.
The C2 you've always loved turns a new leaf. C2 with a fresh new look. What you see is green. What you get is cool and clean. What you see is tea, brewed and bottled on the same day.
everyone, and we are back at it again. I'm Marina Atanasio, your second news anchor. And tonight, we have even more exclusive news. Another Israeli family, the Cold O service is a family tradition.
Everywhere across Israel, signs of an army heading to war. Some are active duty combat troops, others reservists putting their lives on hold.
Called up my commanders and I knew right away. I have to tell my wife that I have to go.
We met Naftali on the Gaza border. Born in New York, he's lived in Israel since he was a baby. In peacetime, he's the father of 3 young girls and a doctor in
I
Jerusalem.
work with Arab doctors, with Jewish doctors, saving lives every day.
But now he's back in uniform, and in his family, he's not the only one.
The first brother and the second brother and the third until the 5th brother, we are all combat soldiers.
A literal band of brothers, all 5 preparing for war. For security reasons, the family asked we show only Naftali's
I
face.
can't even describe what my mom is feeling right now.
We drove into the desert towards this Israeli-Egyptian border, where we found Naftali's youngest brother, Shui.
Wow! We're best friends. He forgave you? He forgave me.
At 21, he's the only one of the 5 brothers still in the mandatory service.
Important to be here right now.
I feel it's like the most important thing I ever did in my life.
2 other brothers, Benzi and Haim, are in the north, where Israel is exchanging fire with 11 East militant of Hezbollah.
We're a fast unit, combat unit, and usually the first ones to be in reserves.
The final brother, Yohanan, raced home from the US.
Caught me 2 a.m. in New York whenever it all started. I didn't sleep all night.
Back to his duties as a tank platoon commander. Naftali's unit was securing Kfar Aza, one of the first communities overrun by Hamas terrorists. More than 50 civilians were killed here, including children.
The horrific attacks that happen here cannot be answered with silence or in a weak response. This has to be a fierce response fighting the evil that you've seen here today.
The siblings giving each other strength from afar.
I see my brothers standing in the north, the south, everywhere. And I say, Shui, you're not alone. Look, your brothers are with you.
Sons of Israel and brothers in arms. Reina Atanasio, International News, Kfar Aza.
Saan pala ako? Ang pala yung gamit. Antok. Magkape nga muna.
Ang bagong Nescafe Classic. May tabang sarap ng dark roast at light roast beans na pinagsama na, kaya may saktong tabang at saktong sarap sa bawat higop. Sarap niya. Bagong Nescafe Classic from Nestle.
Free Mouth Defense. Kills 99.9% of mouth bacteria. May flavor infused with natural antioxidants and sugar acid defense. Kumukuti-kutitap ang ngiti. Tiwala lang. Kaya natin to. So ngiti na!
Nagugutom ka na ba? At tinatamad ko nang lumabas at magluto? Ito na ang sagot sa problema mo. Just download Foodpanda app.
Napakadali lang mag-download ng Foodpanda app. Pumunta ka lang sa Google Play Store at i-download ito. At pagkatapos mo itong i-download, mag-sign in ka lang at marami ka ng store na pwedeng pag-orderan. At ang kinagandahan pa rito, pag bago ka lang, meron kang free shipping fee. Kaya ano pa ang hinihintay mo? Just download the Foodpanda app.
Pizza! Pizza! How? Yes! Finger and clover, they go together. Finger and clover, my love affair. Sisimutin, sarap ay ubusin. Clover na clover, like clover finger. Suko kasama, saan man magpunta. Ikaw ang life of the party. Sa thesis rehearsal, mall or at the movie. Sa office o studio, simut sarap ito. Masayang kabanding, love kita forever. Clover na clover, like clover finger. Lahat sisimutin, sarap ay ubusin. Clover na clover, like clover finger.
Simut sarap kasama ang Clover.
In June, Ukraine began its long-awaited offensive. The hope then was that Ukrainian soldiers equipped with modern Western weapons would recapture territories taken by the Russians, but that plan has not worked. Despite breaches of Russian defenses near Rybotne, Ukraine has only liberated a fraction of the territory that Russia occupied in June.
Ukraine is a long way from achieving a big and significant breakthrough.
The counteroffensive up to this point has been disappointing both for the Ukrainians and for the West.
But recently, things have been going better for Ukraine elsewhere. After ramping up the missile and drone strikes on the Crimean Peninsula, the importance of Russian supply route over the Kerch Bridge was disrupted and Russia was forced to withdraw its Black Sea fleet from its base in Sevastopol. Now, with winter approaching, focus is turned to what's next for the biggest war on European soil in nearly 8 decades.
So what are we seeing right now? Slow movement near Bakhmut, Robotyne, and Kherson.
Mark Kimmett is a retired U.S. Army Brigadier General who served Bosnia, Kosovo, and Iraq. While process in the north of the country has been slow growing, General Kimmett believes that Ukrainians have recently seen more success in Crimea. In September, President Biden said that the U.S. is willing to provide advanced long-range surface-to-surface ATACMS missiles to help Kyiv with its counteroffensive. Russia withdrew the bulk of its Black Sea fleet from its main Crimean base since Sevastopol, following a series of drone and missiles by Ukraine. In July of 2022, General Kimmett wrote a WSJ editorial about what he saw as the most likely option.
At that time, I believed that the war would eventually reach this type of World War I stalemate and trench warfare, artillery warfare. Unfortunately, I was right, and I stand by my conclusion that not only will this be the case in 2023, but could very well be the case in 2024.
Студент, я Федя, на зв'язку.